take you to the next destination in your career or business. And now, Katrina Brittingham. Hello, hello, hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, your person that will bring you your business tips. So, hopefully, you brought your favorite drink, and hopefully, you can see it with favorite drink. And I am bringing the business and career advice along with my handsome host, ah, Dr. The Real Deal Love. And I'm gonna have to do this because my background is like I should have stuck with the backdrop, but my background is erasing certain things because it just wants you to see the
Technology,
background.
technology. We're learning technology.
Technology is learning us. That's what that is.
Okay.
Teaching us some things. It's like, do you want the background or do you want to see everything else? Um, but we have an exciting topic for you, which I'm sure you will find it as exciting as I do, is the top 10 social media marketing tips for small business and business as a whole. Even if you're a large business, you need to know this. But 9 times out of 10, large businesses already do this. But for small businesses and entrepreneurs, these are the things that you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Okay.
these are some things that I also have done and need to do, and I refresh every year. The first thing you want to do is start out with a clear objective on what you are trying to accomplish with
Mm-hmm.
your social media marketing. It's just like when you market regularly, you want to know where your dollars are going, making sure that they hit the right people, and that you have an overall goal of leads that you're getting from that. Okay. So you want to start with your top three marketing executive objectives. Ooh. And then evaluate how social media will help you achieve your objectives. So, oftentimes, business owners buy into the idea that I have been there. I have to be in all of these new places or I will be left behind. I have to be there or I'll be left behind. But social media can help you reach your objectives by being strategic, just like with any other marketing. Okay. So, and I've heard this, I've heard it for myself where people's like, oh, you don't have TikTok? No. Oh, you don't have this? No. I'm doing well with the social media platforms that I am on. I started out with one social media site, then I moved to another one and another one. My ideal clients are on those platforms. So you need to know where your ideal clients are. TikTok may not be where your clients are.
Okay.
So if they're not there, why spend time, effort, and dollars in a space where your target audience is not? It's just a waste of money. You're pouring money down the drain. And I had to learn that. People's like, oh, you should be here, you should do this and everything. And I was like, well, my clients are not on this social media platform or that social media platform. When I have sent out polls, when I talk to people, a lot of them didn't even know how to use those platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew that they were not on them. They were not spending time on them. I do career based things and business based things for a certain niche. That niche is not on those platforms. Now, if your niche is business and careers and your people meet that niche, then fine, pick up those. Also, you want to look at what you can handle as a small business.
Mm-hmm.
Having one, maybe two or three social media platforms may be easy for you to handle as a solopreneur. However, if you are on 10 social media platforms and it's just you
Mm-hmm.
doing the marketing, Are you going to be able to handle that? Are you going to be able to post it? Yes, they have tools that help you to automatically post, but you still have to go in and manage those.
Yeah.
Even if you put the post out there for a month or a week, you're still doing that for 10 platforms. You're
Hmm.
still trying to be creative for 10 platforms, and each platform is different. So you have to post different things. Do you have the capacity to handle that? It is better for you to be on one social media platform and do it well than to be on 10 and do it poorly. Because again, this is your brand we're talking about.
Hmm. That's good. That's good advice. Effective. How effective are you?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, so that being said, do you have any other comments, Dr. Love?
I think that was such good information because you know social media was something new for me as well because I'm of the baby boomer persuasion, and social media was something. Should I get into social media? And then once you get involved in it, it's like either get involved in social media or get left behind. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And being a businessman or being a businesswoman, you don't want to get left behind, so you jump in. And as you just said,
Mm-hmm.
should I go on TikTok? Should I go on Twitter? Should I go on Instagram? Should I go on, um, LinkedIn? Where should I be? Or should I be on all of them? And those are things that we really panic about, because it's like, where should I really go? And you really want to be confident. And like you said, you want to pick one. Uh, you know, a gentleman said to me a while ago, he said, you want to shift from being a wandering generality to a meaningful specific. So you don't
Mm-hmm.
wander through all of them. You want to get one of them and be specific. You want to be effective. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, no LinkedIn, in and out. If it's the other one, what was that other one where you go in the chat rooms? You know what I mean? One came up with the chat room. It's like, do I need to be there? When I came up, I said, I don't need to go there. Like you said, TikTok, no, I don't need to go there. It was just certain ones. I realized I didn't need to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the ones that you were in. And that's just such good advice to let our listeners know. Take your time, be confident in the one or two that you're in, three at the most, and master them.
Right. And stay on top of the trends in social media. Like when I started my business, some of the places that I actually was on was popping for what I was doing. And then there was a shift. So you
Mm-hmm.
need to know, and do your research. Everything, see, when it comes to business, everything is research first.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to continue that research. It's not a one and done thing. You want to every few months, every 6 months, at least every year, can research again to make sure that you are following the trend
Mm-hmm.
of where your business is going, where your people are going. Because if you don't follow that trend, you could still be marketing on the same platforms and missing your people because they've moved on to another platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, case in point, about a year ago, 2 years ago, um, LinkedIn was the place to be for business owners, or for careers. Well, I just found out today one of the trends is that even though you have people and a good amount of people that are recruiting and doing business on LinkedIn, they're starting to move away from LinkedIn. It's not the 98% source that it was before. And
Wow.
so if you don't know that, and some of your people have gone somewhere else, a pocket of your clientele is somewhere else that you're going to miss. So this is the thing, these are the things that you want to look at when you go into doing your social media, the stuff before you put dollars in,
Mm-hmm.
so that you are making good use of your dollars. And as a small business, dollars are everything. You can't afford to lose $1,000, $10,000. A large business may be able to say, "Oops," and change. Um, ideally they don't want to either, but they can rebound from that quicker than a small business.
Mm-hmm.
So that leads us into number two. You want to build your authority. You want to show yourself as an expert in what you do. Okay. So um this applies to anyone who is looking to be successful in their marketing and sales. You want to concentrate on growing your audience and engagement on your social media platform so that you can ultimately boost sales and conversion rates. Okay. So what will help you to do that is also you're building collaboration, someone people who that can refer you and see you as that authority, as that expert. You would be posting similar to what I am doing now or something else, where this show helps market my business, Dr. The Real Deal Love Business, because we are on this platform showing our expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We don't have to say, oh, I'm an expert. We're showing you what our expertise is on the social media platforms that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and having a show may not be for you, but it works for us because we've learned that it works for us. What works for you, find out what works for you and work that. Show your bring yourself before a platform where you can express what you're good at, even if you have, like LinkedIn has groups, so maybe you don't necessarily have a show or have flyers that you put out and everything like that. Maybe you have a group and you have people come in and you have discussions, and that's how you show what your expertise is. Maybe you have classes that you have that you advertise on there. Anything that shows what you do, that shows that this person is knows what they're talking about, and make sure that you know what you're talking about when you get on there, because I've seen the opposite where people come on platforms, they have shows, they have different things, and um they're speaking and you it's clear that they are not the authority on what they're speaking on. They're not the experts on what they're speaking on. um I've been on shows and I've had this show where it was a little clear that the person needed maybe to go back and do a little more research or the drawing board. Sometimes I try to chalk it up as nervousness because you can be nervous coming onto a TV program, but you want to make sure that, again, everything is your brand. So you want to make sure that it is polished. You want to make sure that you are doing what you were supposed to do. Not saying that mistakes don't happen, because they do with the best of us.
The best
We
of
make mistakes. Sometimes we miss the mark, but you want to make sure that 99.9% of the time you are showing yourself as that expert.
them. Hmm. Yeah. You've practiced enough. You've honed your skill. You put your time in. My daughter, who's a rowing instructor, when she was learning rowing, I would say to her, I said, listen, every day when you practice, you spend an hour, 2 hours on the water for 15 minutes in the race.
Mm-hmm.
All week, all week long, every day after school, you're working, you're honing your skill, you're rowing, you know what I'm saying? Race day comes, the race is only going to be 20 minutes, but they're going to see in that 20 minutes what you've been doing all week. And if you've been shucking and jiving, they're going to see it in the race. And if you have,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to see it in your performance. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
you want your performance to speak for itself. Okay, you want them to see you perform, and they say, "Whoa, she
Mm-hmm.
bad, she bad, honey."
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's the thing. You need to make sure that you are polished. You want to make sure that when people think of your brand, they think of an expert. Oh, I know I'm going to get good content.
you. Hmm.
Um, that being said, we have been getting great feedback on the show. I, I need to contact my co-host a little more to let him know, but it trickles in at such um, unexpected times. I can, I can, I could be having a conversation with somebody who just called me, um, an associate, a colleague, or whomever, and we're having a conversation about something totally different. And then
Mm-hmm.
they'll throw in there in the middle, oh, I've been watching your show. It's so great. Oh my goodness, I watch every week. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'd be like, oh, I have to tell him that. And then we start talking about whatever it was we were talking about, and I totally um forget, but it's goes along with this topic, and just why it popped into my head
Okay.
that um people look at it and it's like, oh, it's so professional, it's so polished, I get so much stuff. That is the mark of having the authority and expertise and stuff, that people know that they are getting good content, and that is what you want to be that go-to source
Mm-hmm.
for that. And how you do that is, we brushed on it when we talked about LinkedIn, is start a conversation. So remember, you are working with the computers, the bots, the algorithms that every social media platform works for. So you need to know how to conversate, how to move, how to get those algorithms to notice you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so they rate your post based on what you're posting and the feedback that you're getting. Okay. If somebody's liking it, if they're commenting, all
Mm-hmm.
of these things put in a box in the computer world, and they're pulling out to see what happens. And
Mm-hmm.
so if you post something and no one responds, then you pretty much go to the bottom of the list and nobody really will see your post. However, if you post something and 10 people respond, 20 people respond, 100 people respond, guess what? You keep moving up and up in the list. And what that does is it makes your page more visible, not only to the people who know you, but also to people who don't,
Who don't know you?
because now you're a favorite post. You'll see it on LinkedIn, and things like that. And when you go in as a business owner or as the page owner, it'll say, "Oh, your post is doing
Mm-hmm.
this well, or this many people responded."
Mm-hmm.
You might want to say something, to keep the conversation going, because
Right.
now it's like, oh wow, this is, and you'll see it, especially on LinkedIn. Oh, this person did a post and it's going viral. Why don't you respond? So now
Mm-hmm.
you can be in it, and you can be in the mix because a million people have responded. And if you respond too, it'll say, okay, she responded to this and it was a million posts, which also feeds people to come to your page.
Right.
So they help
Interaction.
establish you.
Interaction is so important. Just the
Yes.
interaction. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Yes.
I had to learn is interaction drives social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Interaction drives social media and people begin to notice you. So
Yes.
that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? It's not you don't come on and day one, week one, month one, people start to notice you. You've got to be consistent out there. One of my coaches said to me, uh, it's better to be consistent than to be excellent every once in a while. It's good to be consistent every day than to be excellent every once in a while.
Yes.
So consistent, people notice you.
Yes. Consistency is key. Um, People need to be able to depend on you, that you're going to show up. So you can build an audience and not show up, and then people are coming expecting you, and then they'll fall off because they can't find you.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I had that happen to me earlier in the year, and I discussed that, where I was kind of off the map for 6 months. The break was needed with everything that was going on personally.
Mm-hmm.
However, when I came back, and I knew, but when I came back, I had to build people's trust and confidence again, that I was going to be there and that I was going to be consistent,
Mm-hmm.
that they were going to continue to be able to come to me as the person that they could go to get the advice that they needed. Okay. And so I'm still building back. I'm still building back from that. But because I had the years of consistency, I had some people who were like, "Oh, oh my goodness, I was waiting for you to come back. You came in my feed and everything like that." And so I had the faithful ones who knew that okay, she's back out here. She's going to come in like gangbusters. Now,
Hmm.
then I have the people who's like, "Is she really going to be consistent again?" And then I may have lost people forever. Unfortunately, when those things happen, you run that risk
Yes.
and everything. But um, for the most part, if it's within your ability, you want to remain consistent.
Hmm.
One of the things that um, I looked into with that is again, I brought on a co host. So if I really have an emergency where I have to be out for a while, guess what? The co host will be on there.
Oh.
I will be making a call. Oh my gosh, my world just blew up. I need you to handle this for a month. Um,
Mhm. Yes, 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 yes,
look,
yes,
he didn't even know that, but now he does. It
yes,
just happened to come up.
yes,
See,
yes.
there's a point and a purpose for everything. But that is one of the things, and that's one of the reasons why you do have a co-host. And same difference. I've gotten a call. I'm not gonna be able to make the show this week because life happens. But the show must go on and will go on.
That's right.
Before that, I did not have a means to have someone to come in and cover. So you might want to put those in place. I know I'm going a little bit off of the social media, but not really, because this was a social media show. To have someone who you can depend on to kind of make sure that you continue to have that consistency.
Well, when you know when you started, you were talking about you had a moment where you can't where you were off of social media, and one of my favorite lines I always say about myself, always reinventing myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
Always reinventing myself. So if we fall off, you get an opportunity to always reinvent yourself, and you will lose some, but you will always gain some new ones. So
mhm,
it's never at a loss if you're authentic, if you're really giving good content, if you're the real deal. I mean, I'm not the only one that, I mean, in your field, you know, people will always notice, okay? And you get an opportunity to reinvent yourself. And
mhm,
Miss Christina was saying, uh, to have someone that you can pass the baton to. So we're
mhm,
in, I'm not able to do it. I have someone that I can pass the baton to, and they can run until I can get back in and run some more. So,
mhm,
that's reinventing yourself. That's
mhm,
redeveloping yourself, getting yourself in an area where it's not all about me. And that's one of the things in business, in small business, that we've got to understand. We wear so many hats.
mhm,
We're the marketing factor. We're the social media person. We're the we do everything. So when you can
mhm,
get someone else to do some part of your business for you, believe you me, you want to take that opportunity because you don't want to do it all. You have to do it all in the beginning, but you don't want to do it all at the end.
mhm.
Okay.
Absolutely. You don't want to do it all in the middle. Hopefully by the time you get to the middle,
Yes.
you have some support in some way, shape, or form
Yes.
that will help you. And that's what I thought. I said I have a huge network of professionals. Um, and they might not want their own show per se, but maybe they wouldn't mind co-hosting. And then as they get some, confidence under their belt, if I can't be there, maybe they'll, as they say, be solo dolo one
Mhm.
time because I had to handle something or for a month or whatever. Those are the things that you need to consider. And it's one of the things um, I had considered, and I had been looking um, for a co host um, even before that time, way before that happened. But after it happened, I was like, okay, I really have to really put my nose to the grindstone to have someone.
Hmm.
And just as I did that, God allowed me the opportunity. I didn't even have to call. He called me
That's
with the
right.
show
Yeah,
idea. And I was like, hmm,
that's right. That's right.
let's see if this is going to work. Um, things work out in the proper time that they're supposed to work out as well. So that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm going to go on to the fourth thing because I feel like I'm rambling. Number four is make sure you show appreciation. It is important that you show appreciation with your business,
Hmm.
no matter what it is, whether you're on social media, whether you have someone buy your service for taking your service, speak for you at an event. You always want to show your appreciation to everyone who's helping you to put out your content, who is helping you to sell your product, who is helping you push your services. You always want to do that. I know for me, like even if people share my content, I'm on, oh, thank you so very much. Why? Because they didn't have to share it. They did not have to. Um, One of the speakers of the conference, a very, very wonderful woman and speaker, said one thing in her presentation, and I thought about it um, very seriously, and it hit me when she said it. Number one, no one has to support your business. Just because you start a business does not mean that people are have to support it.
Yeah.
They do not. And I never thought about it in that context,
Hmm.
but I did think about it
Okay.
when I go to stores, when I go to purchase something as a consumer, and you get the most horrible attitude person servicing you. The
Hmm.
first thing I think is, well, I don't have to give you my business.
Hmm.
That's the same thing.
Yeah. I'm not obligated. I'm not
Yeah.
obligated to be here.
It's the same thing but in a different context.
Yes.
And the worst is when I find out that the person who gave me the nastiness while I'm spending my money is the owner of the company.
Hmm.
And so we go into business and we like, oh, I want people to support me. Oh, my friends and family will support me. 99% of the time, no, they don't.
Hmm.
And we get upset. And I say we because I was in that boat. And I was especially in that boat because a lot of my family, and I've said it on this show and Career GPS, that I have a family full of entrepreneurs from my mother's generation, and especially in the generation that I'm in, and the next generation are entrepreneurs at the truest sense of the word.
Okay.
That being said, I have supported every entrepreneur in my family.
Hmm.
So when I finally decided to start a business after people saying you need to go into your own business, I found that the support really was not there like that. And I was like, wait a minute. I supported everybody else's business. They should just support mine. Well, guess what? They did not have to.
Right.
And so I had to find a way to have support for my business outside of my box of people. And I
Hmm.
found that the services that I provide 9 times out of 10 doesn't even fit my family.
Okay.
So the need wasn't there. I wasn't speaking to their need.
Okay.
Even though they didn't necessarily speak to mine, and I just was like, okay, I'll buy your thing.
I'll buy it
Just the
I'll buy it just because you are family.
yes,
Yeah, we do that.
yes,
I don't need
and
just because you're my family.
yes,
Hmm.
and but on the flip side, They was like, I don't care if you're family or not. I don't need your stuff. Um,
Mhm, mhm.
I can laugh about it now, and it's so hilarious to me. But that's what it was. It was like, family or not, I don't need what you. I don't need what you're selling. And so, and I'm not saying that all of my family was like that, because it's not. I had some who really did support me and supported me from the beginning and bought stuff even if it didn't, and ran around and told everybody, oh, look, my cousin does this, this one does this, and you need to buy it and this. So I did have some, but it just,
Yeah.
the overload of support that you thought you were going to get. And I've heard that from many small business owners,
Hmm.
that, oh, I started this business, why don't my friends and family support? Well, they
Hmm.
don't have to. Honestly, they don't. And you would love for them to, but if they don't, is that the crux of your business?
Hmm.
Are they the ones that you are selling to? And if they do not purchase, will you go out of business? So that's a part of researching and your niche, and making sure that you show appreciation to the people who do support you. In the beginning of my business, I had people who supported me that I did not even really know like that. I went to a conference. Yes, me being a grown woman, I took my mommy with me because I was nervous.
Hmm.
To a
Okay.
conference. And I had had a conversation with the president of the organization. He was like, "Oh, you should really come." And this. And I came, and she introduced me to certain people who are my colleagues. And I was blessed also to have them as my friends, even to today. They were my biggest supporters and advocates, and pushed me out to other people. And that's what helped grow my business.
Hmm.
Made suggestions for certain things that I should do, certain trainings I should take, certain certifications I was going to need, and things like that, which led to me to meet other people who promoted and saw that, I was serious about this, that, I had a head on my shoulders, that I had some expertise in certain things, which led to other conversations. So it behooved me to be so grateful, and I found myself sitting in rooms with people who were heavy hitters. I had conversations with literally millionaires,
Hmm.
and all of it was to be was being appreciative. Even when if somebody gives you advice or gives you comments about your product or service, or how they view you, even if it's constructive, you should appreciate that, because they didn't have to give that to you. They could have just walked away and just talked about how crappy your presentation was, or how
Hmm.
your services just is not hitting it, or how you are just not ready yet.
Hmm.
Okay? But if you show that appreciation, thank you so much for letting me know that. And you make the adjustments that you're supposed to make to be that expert, it goes a long way.
I was thinking as you were talking about that, you know, none of us do anything unless we're given an opportunity.
Mhm.
You know, when you go and fill out an application on the job, I mean, they're going to pay you and you're going to do a service for them, but they give you an opportunity to come in.
Mhm.
You know, if you are a if you are a speaker and someone hires you for their event, they give you an opportunity to speak. They give you an opportunity to take a platform and to be heard by other organizations. So none of us do anything unless we're given an opportunity. And when someone gives you an opportunity, that is so huge, Miss Katrina. That is
Mhm.
huge, huge just to be grateful. You know what I'm saying? To take the time and say, thank you for giving me the opportunity. You may think that's beneath you. Like a lot of times you would say, "I'm so good." You know what I mean? It was a
Mhm.
blessing for you to have me, but that's not really the way
Mhm.
it works. The way it
Mhm.
really works is you have given me an opportunity to showcase my talent, and as a result of being grateful for that, you know what I'm saying? It opens the doors for more opportunity for you. And that's what
Mhm.
I wanted to just encourage you on when it comes down to just being grateful. I mean, I find myself when people say to me, they say, thank you for a service that I rendered. I oftentimes say, no, thank you. So
Mhm.
it's like two thank yous. You know what I'm saying? They're saying thank you to me, and I say thank you for the opportunity to serve.
And here's where I will take it a little bit further. I do say thank you. However, if I have an event later that fits the talents of the person who gave me the opportunity to speak, guess what Katrina does?
What does she do?
I extend the invitation
Hmm.
for them to showcase their expertise in front of my audience.
Hmm.
What that does, number one, is again, it's like, oh wow, she really did appreciate it.
Hmm.
Number two, it brings them in front of an audience that they may not have been able to reach or did not reach because your audience may it is not the same. I tell people I'm not in competition with anyone because my customers are my customers, your customers are your customers. But I can provide a service that I may not necessarily provide.
Hmm.
What that does is that solidifies you more as an expert. I tell people being an expert is not just what you know, it's being able to connect people to what they need, even if you don't provide it.
That's right. Exposure, exposure.
Yes.
Hmm.
So when I did the conference, even the first year, I had a combination of people. I had people I had just literally met maybe a month or two before, and I had people that I had known for years speaking in this conference. And each time, each person, and they'll say, they was like, she said to me, I'm going to bring you in for something.
Hmm.
And for some of them, they had been waiting a couple years since I said that. For others, it was months, but they all said, she said she was going to bring me
Right.
in for something because I saw something in them and I saw what they could bring. And I let them know, I don't know what it is, but you have something. I know you can present something to my clientele, and I'm going to bring you in.
Hmm.
Each of them said, she said that, but I didn't expect her to contact me because people say that all the time.
All the time, all the time, all the time. And
And I
you were
said, but
doing
no,
good.
I did have a plan. Again, like I told everyone, I don't know when and I don't know what is going to be. But
Hmm.
I just know that I am going to have something that I'm going to bring you in on. My co-host can let you know. He came and did one of my first shows ever.
Hmm.
And I said, that's I'm gonna bring you back for something.
Hmm. Absolutely. You were a woman of your word.
And I don't know how long it was. I know it had to have been a couple of years because it was like one of my first shows ever.
Hmm.
And the first year he was there with the conference, he was a vendor.
Hmm.
The next year I was like, okay, I need you to get you to speak on a topic. And so the next year he came in as a speaker and everything. So that's the thing. Be true to your word.
Mm.
If
That's
you say that you're going to bring someone in for something, make sure you do. Even again, it may take you a couple years. Remember, see, I'm good at remembering when someone has made an impact on me.
hmm.
um I am a woman of my word, and I people will tell you I will bend heaven to make sure that I follow through on my word.
That's right. That's important.
And it means a lot to me because my word is my bond, is my integrity. It shows um it shows that I'm a true person. So people will say, if she says she's going to do it, she's going to be there.
We'll do
And if I'm not there, number one, I'm contacting you if I can, barring, nothing happens that I can't call you. But one thing I found, and it was brought to me, yeah, this year, um, right before everything in my life blew up. I was happened to be running late for an event, and I'm always kind of get the shakes when I'm running late because I'm always either 15 minutes early or I'm late. So I try to be 15 minutes early
That's
for
always
stuff.
good. That's always good. Hmm.
And I'm rarely ever late. And so I'd happen to be running late and I got a call and they were like, "Oh, and I think I was only maybe like 5 minutes late, but they was like, "This is not like you and this." And I'm just making sure, well, I happen to have run out of gas going to an event. And I was stuck and I was trying to wait and do what I needed to do.
Hmm.
Um I was not driving. I have to note that because I'm a certain type of person. So
So you didn't run out of gas. It was somebody.
I do not like I've never this is the first time in my life that I've ever run out of gas. Like literally like this car stop because you run out of gas. Um and so and that person said that she was like, "Oh, you must be riding with someone."
Mm,
And I'm like, "How'd you know?" They're like, "Cause you just not the type to run out of gas. You just."
mm.
And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know the person knew me that well.
That's right.
Um, and I was like, "But I'm almost there." She said, "Yeah." 'Cause she said, "Well, you're normally always early. I knew something had happened. I was worried and da da da." And she said, "I know you're only like 5 minutes late, but it just wasn't like you." And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I have I apologize. I'm getting there and everything." And so I get there, and there's this conversation, and she says it. She was like, "I knew something was wrong because she's normally there." And there was a snide comment made. It was like, "Oh, well, you just don't know her." She said, "No, no, I know her and I know that she would be there." I mean, this person got so offended. They're arguing with this person, and I'm just sitting there watching, like,
She
wow, I
had
don't
you.
even have to say
Had you.
anything.
But
Um,
I got you. Hmm.
and it surprised me because I'm like, this was someone that I have gone to events with them, but they didn't really, in my opinion, know me like that.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I was like, wow, they knew me well enough to argue a case
Right.
for me. And I was like, and that's what you want. You want someone to be able to, what's the term, evangelize for you. Well, no,
Mm-hmm.
I know her character. No, I know that if something must have happened. I know, what this person brings to the table. Whatever. And I think I got that early on from my brother when I first started working. He told me I'm always at work a half hour early.
Hmm.
And I'm young and I'm like, "What? Why?" He said, "Because I have to establish my character that if one day I happen to be late, they'd
Hmm.
be like, "Okay, I know something happened."
Yes. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I never consciously, and I'm sitting here because I'm thinking about it, I never consciously set that in my mind, but it was always in my mind
Hmm.
that I need to establish my character so that if something happens, they can say, "Okay, I know something's wrong because she's not here and she's normally here."
Hmm.
And I took that not just in business, but in every area of my life. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. And I need them to know if I don't show up and you don't hear from me, something is wrong, really wrong.
Uh-huh.
As opposed to, and I've seen it too many times, "Oh, that's just that person. Oh, they're late again. Oh, that's just that person." Well, you don't want to have that as an established practice, especially as a business owner. And you don't want to have it, especially in market. If you market yourself, "Oh, we are the best, we're great, we're this, we're that," and then someone calls on your service because now you have to back up the service that you're advertising. And somebody
Hmm.
calls on your service and you're 15 minutes late, walking in fast, people call it fashionably late. And you're walking in and you had a whole room full of people waiting for you. Because
Yeah.
number one, it shows that you don't value the time of the people that you're trying to service.
Hmm.
And
Now,
that speaks volumes.
now, I was thinking about that because I had to learn that, and maybe I don't know if we have a listener tonight, but for me, fashionably late. See, when you said that resonated with me because
Hmm.
as a man and as a man who thought I had it all together, I wanted to be fashionably late. I used to, you know what I mean? I take time and get myself dressed up. I'm sharp. You know what I mean? I wanted to make a grand entrance. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to be late. But in business, see, that's the whole thing. I wanted to be late. I wanted to make a grand entrance. I wanted the people to see me and see how sharp I was. But in business, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? See, I
Hmm.
don't want that. In business, it's said like this here. To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. Okay. So if you're supposed to be somewhere at 9 o'clock, if you're there quarter of nine, you're on time. If
Hmm.
you're supposed to be at 9 o'clock and you show up 9 o'clock, you're late.
Hmm.
Okay. See,
Hmm.
that's the kind of practice when you start talking about the principles of people like Bill Gates.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you start talking about principles like Warren Buffett, you know what I mean? These men and women have principles,
Hmm.
you know, that push the envelope beyond the expectations. You know what I'm saying? I
Hmm.
expect people to be there 9 o'clock. But when you start talking about excellence, and that's what you want in business, you want to start talking excellence.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go beyond the call of duty. and
Hmm.
that and that's what hit me when you talked about being fashionably. You don't want to be fashionably. You want to be on time. You want to
Hmm.
return calls in a reason. If I get a phone call, you know what I mean. You don't want 2 3 days to pass. You want to return those calls. You want to return those emails. That's important. That's very
Hmm.
okay, Mr. Cooper.
And the thing about it is simply this, and it makes so much sense. And this is what I would tell people, even when it comes to work as an employee. Oh, I just make sure I get there right on time. And I said to someone one time, I said, okay, you're supposed to be at work at your desk and working at 9 o'clock. What happens? Because it will happen that
Hmm.
you come in, it's 9 o'clock on the dot. You can't run to your computer and sign on because you have to go to the bathroom. Now you're 5 minutes late.
Hmm.
So on time is late. What if the elevator is crowded and now you have to wait for the next elevator?
Hmm.
Now you are late. What happens if there's a pileup on the expressway? Now you're late.
Hmm. Hmm.
Being exactly on time puts you in a place to not be in the place that you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be there.
Hmm. Absolutely.
And so, practically, being just right on time doesn't work. If
That's
you
true.
have a speaking engagement, and it blew me away when I did business because I was so used to, they call it CP time, but I've seen non CP
Uh,
do the same thing.
they put that all on us.
Um,
CP.
so how we coined it,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, or how it became just our thing. I
Yeah.
don't, I used to think it was just our thing until I was in, then I'm like, they're late too, and they're late all the time too. But if you say you have a speaking engagement and you're just arriving at your speaking time, number one, are you prepared to speak?
Mhm.
Do you have your notes out? Do you have your computer? Because most, you know, things have evolved. Yes, I'm dating myself again because when I first started speaking, you had the speaking cards and the speaking notes, which
Mhm.
I never really did. I memorized my stuff because, as you can see, even when I have cards here, things get all mixed up.
Okay.
um, just the way it is. Um, where I wound up leaving half of it home somehow or in the car or whatever. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. So I always memorized my stuff whether I had the cards or not. So you
Mhm.
had the speaking points cards. Then you had the PowerPoints. So then you had to bring a thumb drive with you, um, so you can have your presentation.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, bring your laptop. We'll just plug it in the thing. So now you have the computer. Well, that takes time to set up. It takes time to set up your mic. It takes time, for all of that stuff. So if you're showing up right at the time it's time for you to present,
Doesn't work. It doesn't work.
then you're not on time. And
Mhm.
if you're in a place where you're speaking for a conference or something, guess what? Your time is your time. They're not going to extend you that 15 minutes, that 10 minutes. Once it's over because they have to go to the next. And for the first time ever, I went to a business conference. It was my, like, again, my first conference where I was 15 minutes early, but so was everyone else, including the people who were sitting in the presentation. I was so shocked
Mhm.
as I came down and they was like, "Hey, da da da, we talking having breakfast," and I'm like, "Wow, everybody's here early." I was like, "It's a room full of me here,"
Ah.
but I was just like, it is set in my head. This is business.
Yeah.
This is how somebody that is serious about business. This is how they perform, and this is how they act. They show up early
Mhm.
because they know I need time to get myself together. The people who were trying to see the presentation was like, "Oh, I needed to get here early because I had to set up my computer so I could take my notes." I mean,
Mhm.
this is the mindset of business people. They're not just showing up at that time. They have to prepare. They have to be set up. They have to get themselves in order and their mind together. And I was
Yeah.
like, especially when you had a breakfast speaker. Well, I want to get my breakfast first and sit down and settle down with my coffee and
My
something like
breakfast,
that.
my computer, everything.
Right. Or
It
they was like,
is.
well, I wanted to get here a little early because I wanted to network with some of the participants and we might not have time because we have something that I really need to do in the next one. Or they might have been a participant in that one and then a speaker in the next session. So they didn't have time.
Mhm.
So it's just, yeah, it just shows you something. And so as a business owner, if you are not showing up on time, then I admonish you to. We always end up kind of going off topic, but it is on topic because after you market, after you get that speaking engagement, after you get that client, then you have to show up. You
Mhm.
have to show out. Part of exceeding people's expectations is showing up beforehand, being prepared, adequately prepared.
Mhm.
How many times you've rushed into a building and you had to go in the bathroom just to get your clothes and stuff together. You had to have time to get your paperwork together, get your thoughts together. I mean, come on, we drive and somebody could have cut you off right before you went into the parking lot and
Mhm.
you're all discombobulated. Now you're taking that energy into your meeting. You have to have time to get yourself together, get your thoughts together. Okay, Katrina, get it together now. You're here for this, 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 this. Let's not think about what just happened when you walked in the door. Let's not think about you. Sometimes you can walk in a building and the receptionist can be rude to you. Yeah, you gotta get yourself together from that. You can't take that energy
That's right. You know,
in there.
I went to an event where Les Brown was speaking, and I knew I wanted to connect with him. So when I got to the event, he was at a table, and I went over to introduce myself and talk with him. And we had a few little polite gestures, and he said to me, he said, let's talk after the event because I gotta collect myself. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So when I get on stage, he said, I want to be able to command my thoughts, my figures, my dates, my he said, I want to be in command of everything I need to, and I don't really need anything outside of where I'm going and my message that I'm delivering pressing in on me. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was just so important for him to just say, I'm collecting myself right now. Let me be in this space right now so I can deliver what it is that I'm delivering because people are here expecting something from me. You know what I'm saying? And people that came to listen, I don't want to miss what you have to say. You know, and like you said, if
Mm-hmm.
you hear you have drawn out, you have tired, people angry, no, no, you're not going to give them the best experience that you can. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So to be cool, calm, and collected,
Mm-hmm.
you give people the best experience that they can have with you when you show up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's important. So I just thought that was so phenomenal for I took note of that. Let's talk afterwards because right now they about to call me and when they call me, he said it's show time and y'all when Les hit the stage, it's show time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of my favorite. So that came to me when you were talking about just being collected.
We're going to pay some bills. I should have done this mid show, but the conversation was so good. I just had to keep
Okay,
going on with it. So we are going to be back within 30 seconds, and then we are going to close up because we are at the top of the hour.
okay, we'll be back.
From one-on-one executive coaching to our business building concierge service, Venture Ready helps entrepreneurs, startup executives, and business owners build, scale, and run their businesses using techniques that support stability and long-term growth. Through the Career GPS radio show and High Tea with Me TV program, we promote smart business strategies for the real world. Then, in our one-on-one coaching programs, we help entrepreneurs go beyond the vision board to realize their big vision into a tangible business with a promising future. If you're waiting to feel legit, here's the thing: you have to legitimize yourself. It's time to stop treating your business like a hobby. Get real, it's your career. So let me ask you, are you venture ready?
All right. So stop treating your business like a hobby. This is your career. It's funny because when I ask people what their career is, they say, "Oh, I own a business." Well, that's a career.
Hmm.
Like people, your career is either you work for someone else or you work for yourself.
Hmm.
So if you're a business owner, that is your career. So let's stop treating your business like it's something separate and let's get serious about your career. And I can help you get serious about your career, which is your business. So contact me and I can help you get organized and everything like that. So back to what we were talking about. The last thing I wanted to say was if you can, do not do the social media by yourself.
Hmm.
If you can bring someone on, if it's a contractor or a W-2 employee, hire someone who has an expertise in social media marketing strategies. Why? Because it's something off your plate and it's someone contributing their expertise
Yes.
to posting your social media content. It's someone who will have time because they will be dedicated to that particular service for your company, as opposed to it being something that you do off of the side of your desk, or you're, let me do 5 minutes or an hour of this and then I can go on to something else. Someone who has a focus on that will go a long way in your social media and your social media strategy. um, it has helped me. um, I'm actually looking for a social media person again.
Hmm.
um, because I've had my share of people who helped me, and fortunately for them, but unfortunately for myself, they moved on in their career and have done some great things. um, and I don't hold that against them or hold that lightly. I was happy that they did move on to do the things that they wanted to do.
Hmm.
Um, as far as marketing and everything like that, they went into a larger area of marketing. So um I need to do that, but it made a big difference. I saw the difference between when I posted something, um, and that not being my um,
Expertise.
area
Hmm.
of I am going to say area of expertise. My area is to help you build a business up. It's not necessarily to um, market and have that creativity to put things out there. I looked at the difference of someone who was actually creative in that area as opposed to me just posting something.
Hmm.
Um, I do have someone who does actually I do have someone who helps me out because the person who does my artwork and the flyers, I found her and hopefully I'm never letting her go. Um,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah.
meaning that she doesn't fly off and leave me. Um, but it makes a world of difference. I literally a anniversary thing came up for the radio show because the radio show was the first thing that I had, and it was a flyer that I had created. And ironically, I was just getting a flyer back for the show, the same show from my content developer, and I looked at the difference between that, and then I went back to earlier, even earlier drafts that she did, and I looked at the world of difference
Hmm.
that it made. Um, I thought it was great, and people was telling me it was the bee's knees. When I looked at it, I said it really looked like I put that together with crayon, and I was like in the first grade, like, look, mommy, I have a sign.
Hmm.
Compared to what this person who really had the skill and talent to do that. And is nothing against you as a business owner to know that someone does this area better than you.
Well, what you said was so key at the beginning. You qualified it. You said if you can, because you may start out doing it yourself, and that's what you shared at the very beginning. But don't stay there. You
Right.
know, don't stay there. As soon as you can get a professional, someone that knows what they're doing, because those are learning curves that I made as well. You hire somebody and they don't really know, or they pretend to know. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes you wind up spending money for people, and you take some losses because they weren't able to deliver the results that they said they were gonna, or they didn't know as much as they led you to believe they knew. So you're gonna have that in the mix. But you may start off doing it yourself, or like one of my colleagues said to me, it looked like it's mammy made. That's what you were talking about. You know what I'm saying? Look like it's
Mm-hmm.
mammy made. Look like you kind of like, one and couldn't. But as soon as you can, you want to get your brand. You want to get your stuff polished. You want to look as professional
Mm-hmm.
as you possibly can as soon as you can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You want to look as professional as you can, as polished as you can, as soon as you can. We all come here stumbling, but don't stay stumbling. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Go ahead, Miss Katrina.
And it absolutely is. That being said, we are. I was trying to not be over the
Not
hour, but we are over the hour and time is up. This is always an awesome conversation. For those, if you have any questions, please, please, please let us know. You can put them in the comments on the various social media platforms that this is streaming to. If you have an idea for a show, meaning that you will have a question that you want to be answered during the show, or a topic that you want discussed as a business owner for a show, you can reach out to us, info@ventureready.net, and we will develop that for you to make sure that you get the content that you want to see and need to see to help you get venture ready in your business. Thank you so very much for viewing. And I, again, impressed by the growth in viewership and the feedback that I have been receiving. And I do pretty much, um, very much appreciate it because you do not have to patronize us every week. And I do thank you again. Toodles.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of High Tea with Me. To be a guest on the show, contact us via email info@ventureready.net. Thank you again, and see you next week.